This episode is brought to you by Shopify. Forget the frustration of picking commerce platforms when you switch your business to Shopify, the global commerce platform that supercharges your selling wherever you sell. With Shopify, you'll harness the same intuitive features, trusted apps, and powerful analytics used by the world's leading brands. Sign up today for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/tech, all lowercase. That's shopify.com/tech.
Savaged Unfiltered.
This program contains subject matter and language that may be disturbing to some viewers. Viewer discretion is advised.
There we go again. More technical problems. We live in the 21st century.
Savaged Unfiltered.
Not only should we not be supporting them, but we gave $30 billion. Did you know we gave $30 billion this weekend?
Your host, Michael Gardner. Like a Hellcat.
Guys, we got a lot to talk about on the show. I want to get into the TikTok. Now the U.S. wanting to ban TikTok. I guess they want to ban people that are going to be lip singing and stuff like that. I don't know what they're going to get from it. You know, there's a lot of sexuality of videos coming out of TikTok. I also want to get into some other news, guys, some breaking news with Joe Biden now claiming Republicans want to ban transgender surgeries for children connected to anti-Semitism. Got a lot of stuff to talk about, some trending stuff coming off of Twitter. The whole Twitter files, guys. Heated show for you guys.
U.S. lawmakers have announced new bipartisan legislation to ban China's popular social media app, TikTok. The bill would block all transactions from any social media company that are under the influence of China or Russia. TikTok's owner, ByteDance, has not commented.
All righty, guys. I want to talk about this show today, Sas, with Twitter. Let's start off with Twitter, with the Twitter files, man. What do you think's going on with Twitter?
I think what's going on with Twitter is that Elon Musk is exposing the corruption. You think? And he is exposing the corruption, and he's exposing the double hypocrisy of what the liberal media or what the Democratic Party has truly done and truly suppressed. Not only your Republicans, but other high-ranking Republicans such as President Donald Trump, and how they're really after our sense of free speech. And he's exposing how the Democratic Party doesn't really stand for free speech, unless then you have free speech. But if not, then you're a terrorist and you're a homophobic and you're like anti-LGBT, then you're anti-alphabet people. I think. And if you even post anything about that, then you get and then if you post any truth to it, then you're considered as a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah.
For instance, we look at the job reports, and
right.
I love this one, for instance, where Joe Biden, he thought the White House, or Joe Biden said that he raised the Social Security is going to be the highest in 10 years. He's raised our Social Security salary and highest than ever. And he's the first president to do that. But then what happened is Elon fact-checked him, and then it caused the Biden administration to take down that Twitter. And they don't want to answer why they misled the public. It's showing the double hypocrisy. And also, what's also being exposed is the laptop from hell.
Miranda Devine, now New York Post columnist and a Fox News contributor. She's also author of the book Laptop from Hell, Hunter Biden, Big Tech, and the Dirty Secrets the President Tried to Hide. She quite literally wrote the book about this story. Miranda, great to have you here today. So first up, what is your reaction to Musk appearing to expose even more censorship that happened at Twitter and these blacklists?
Well, it's certainly illuminating and helpful to flesh out what we all had suspected was going on behind the scenes at Twitter. No one really took their assurances that they were not shadow banning people seriously.
Big Tech is in trouble. Now, get this. In a recent Twitter post, former Twitter CEO and free speech failure, right? I did that on purpose. Jack Dorsey basically responded to the recent published Twitter files that now current CEO Elon Musk is putting out. And he says this, Sas. He basically put this on Twitter just yesterday. Okay. There's a lot of conversation around the hashtag Twitter files. Here's my take and thoughts on how to fix the issues identified. I'll start with the principles I've come to believe based on everything I've learned and experienced through my past actions as a Twitter co-founder and lead. What? Come again? There's more. There's more. A follow-up tweet. They call them follow-up tweets, right? The tweet right underneath the beginning tweet now says, number one, social media must be resilient to cooperate and government control. What? Number two, only the original author may remove content they produce. And finally, number three, moderation is the best implemented by choice.
Savaged Unfiltered.
Okay, let's talk about the first one that he said, Sas. Number one, that social media must be resilient to cooperate with government control. What the hell does he mean by that?
Your guess is good as mine. I'm guessing when he wrote that he was high on crack cocaine that Hunter gave him.
Possibility. I mean, you know, the entire establishment, man, I think should be tested daily, if not daily, weekly, man, for possession of illegal drugs. I mean, because half the stuff that comes out of their mouth, you want to like almost question, man, saying like, what the hell are they thinking of? You know?
Yeah, for instance, that whatever that girl, that the press secretary, House press secretary, you know what she said? She's like that Twitter. She's like, well, we got to monitor Twitter because they are a threat. Well, why aren't you monitoring, for instance, Facebook? Why aren't you monitoring Instagram, Snapchat, because there's where other child trafficking thing is? Why are you only focusing on Twitter? You know, is it because that Twitter stopped giving money to you guys? Is it because Twitter stopped giving money to the human trafficking that's been going on and that's now being exposed, at how our social media giants are now trafficking pornography? What, is it because of that and that you're afraid that's going to get exposed and you're, what do you think?
Well, according to the former CEO of Twitter, Dorsey has been talking the good game, folks, on the platform. You know, he also co-founded recently Talking Snipes at CNN's former Brian Stelter, criticizing the Twitter board's response to Elon Musk takeover. He says that Elon Musk is a fool for trying to rebrand the platform that I started in the early 2000s. Oh, God. Now, Sauce, this is the same jackass that's also the friend of Black Lives Matter pioneer D. Ray McKenzie.
Yep.
Which is known. The movement was known for riots, loots, and burns. And guess what? Dorsey, while all that was going on, where was the shadow banning on the platform when he was in control of the platform? Where was the monitoring there? Where there was mass violence happening in streets of downtown Atlanta, Waukesha, Wisconsin, just to name a few. Where was the censorship there, Sauce? Where was it? Nowhere.
It was nowhere to be found. Well, instead, he censored families and people that have that spoke out against COVID. He censored families, and he censored people that were trying to state that Fauci was going at, like he's the one that started the Wuhan lab, and that America actually had gave billions of dollars to China to fund gain of function. So he was going after that, and he was also going after families, and he was too worried about people going after families that stood up against school board meetings and said, no, enough is enough. You can't mask our children. For instance, you know, I sent you a video over, I think, on Twitter and stuff.
No, you gotta wear it on, honey. No, you gotta keep it on. Put your mask on.
Of a doctor just absolutely disgusted, where you have this elementary school teacher, okay, forcing this kid to put on a mask, and he clearly doesn't like it. He's like, it's going against his own will. This is a 5-year-old child, and you're forcing that, and then you're going to censor a mother that says, no, enough is enough. But You know what? We're going to censor. We're not going to. Well, why didn't Jack Dorsey censor the Taliban leader?
Yeah, it shows violence. It shows mayhem of people, like literally radicalized people. The words. I mean, I had to find them there for a minute. Assassinating people, chopping people's heads off. How come the former CEO of Twitter monitoring and censoring people showing that on Twitter?
I don't know. That's a good question, because he's a communist, you know, and he hates America, and he doesn't like free speech. And he's like, as long as if people can't comply to whatever I have, and he's trying to make us dependent upon Twitter. He's trying to make us dependent upon Twitter, so thinking that's like the holy grail.
Savaged, unfiltered.
You know, it's got to be true because it's from Twitter. No.
Yeah.
No.
Speaking of hate speech, you know, the unicorn loving influencer over there on MSNBC's Reed put this in the headline this morning here, which is all over the paper. It's on fucking Breitbart, Newsmax, now saying that unbridled hate speech making Twitter premier location for radicalizing people. Yeah, she thinks, this idiot thinks, the anchor there on MSNBC, Joy Reid, said just yesterday on her show, The Readout, saying that Elon Musk is radicalizing new users on Twitter. Oh, he's radicalizing people? No, he's waking people the hell up, you dumb bitch.
Yep.
I'm fired up today, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a very fired up, unfiltered, savage, unfiltered show today. This is disgusting of what we're seeing in news today, where literally you are seeing users now being filled as the new word now on Twitter, radicalized Americans. Give me a fucking break.
Well, at the same time, they want to have free speech, and when we question them, then they call us radical. But then when they're like, it's a complete ass backwards, literally. And so how? And another thing is that, you know what? If you really hate free speech, why don't we just do, like, you know how they have a Make-A-Wish Foundation?
Yeah.
Why don't we do that? Why don't we make this? Let's see, Free Speech Foundation. So if you hate, like, anti-free speech foundation, whatever, like, for instance, Joy Reid, Peppermint Patty, you know, all these like neo-Nazis like AOC and stuff, and Bernie Sanders. If you truly hate this country and what it stands for and the blood that was shed so you can spew out hate and so you can spew out like your garbage and your rhetoric, why don't you go to Russia? Why don't you go back with Brittany Griner? And why don't you stay there for a couple months actually a couple years, and then you can find a way to fly back. You can work tirelessly while Russian government takes all of your money back. And the moment that you think that you have free speech in Russia is the moment that the Russian tanks go down your street, and then you think otherwise. Then you understand the concept of what free speech really means. And here's why I know from experience. Okay, when back in my school, back in 2004, I was teaching 2 blocks away from my orphanage, which I attended. Okay, our teacher was talking about America, and America, how its freedoms were founded, like its freedom were like you know, the love of the country and stuff. And so what happened is we were taught the Pledge of Allegiance for America. And you know what happened? I said the Pledge of Allegiance. I tried to remember the Pledge of Allegiance, and I said it too loud to one of my friends, and during lunch, and I had to go to the crying room, which I was then. What a crying room in Russia they have in schools is that they whip you until you cry, and then it's like a discipline thing. So like they physically beat you and stuff until they grade you not to do what you're taught to do. So then I had to forget the Pledge of Allegiance for America.
Wow.
I mean, now this is coming. Well, this is why it means like a lot to me, because
it hits the heart, Sauce.
It does. And so that's why I find it really offensive that you think that, like, when other countries, you get literally beat. I got literally beat for saying the Pledge of Allegiance when I was like 5.5 years old. And the sad part is that school did get burned down because they were starting to teach the Constitution. They were starting to teach the American history. And so then what happened is that the Russian government found out about it, and it was a big hostage. They boarded up all the windows and burned down the school in 2004. And it was one of the biggest hostage takes around the world. And it was all over. And it was just absolutely awful. All because the school was teaching about America and this free speech that it has.
That's terrible.
Isn't that
But according to the liberal nut jobs, that this is okay. This is okay. It's okay. Yes, it's okay. I want to move away from this whole Twitter file crap because it's becoming crap after crap after crap. I got to fill up a laundry fucking basket just to fill up the damn crap. So we're gonna move along, folks. I want to get into this TikTok scenario. Hitting headlines all over the place, guys.
TikTok. The bill would block all transactions from any social media company that are under the influence of China or Russia.
Meanwhile, Florida Senator Marco Rubio introduced a bill in the Senate this week that would ban TikTok from operating in the U.S.
Where the hell is it now? Washington Post reporting on it. CBS News, all over the place. Readers, Vanity Fair, all over the place. Sky News. I would need 7 shows to tell you how many freaking networks are covering this damn thing. Now, get this. Utah Governor Cox is now putting in a petition, ladies and gentlemen, that he wants to ban state-owned devices. What? Wow.
What's that?
Why? Why does he want state-owned devices? That would be like anybody that's a state employee that works for the state of Utah will no longer be eligible to download a TikTok app on their state phone, meaning the phone that was given to them from the state, okay, will no longer be able to download TikTok. Now, when we hear state phones, does this apply to the government assistant phones too, Sas? That's a question that you might want to ask, because all those phones that they give the homeless people, the hobos there on the street,
also the illegal immigrants that get the newest iPhone out there, and it's all state, so we all pay for their phones. I'm sorry. I hate to say this, but so I would like to apologize for my talking about the free speech thing, but it means a lot to me, and that's why I want to say that I don't want to scare people, telling about my story, but it's something that is in your life, and it's something that is ingrained, and that's why people that do come here to America really really take free speech to their heart, and it means a lot to them. So I want to apologize for scaring your listeners. I don't mean to scare them.
Michael Gardner, unfiltered.
But at the same time, it is viewer discretion, and if you don't like it, then you don't have to listen to this episode, right? But
pretty much, Sas. I think we're all scared at this point or another. But go ahead, buddy.
So what happened is, first of all, if I'm paying for state-owned phones, such as people like the illegal immigrants are getting by the millions of iPhone 14s. If they're getting government phones that we're paying for, then I'm all for it. The only thing that they should be allowed to do on state-owned phones is call, text. Other than that, I don't want them downloading idiotic apps. I don't want them downloading stupid apps that we have to pay for, and it comes out of our tax dollars. I'm all for it. But for instance, for government employees, they do realize that TikTok is Chinese-owned. They do realize that all the information, your personal information, goes to China in their database. And if you're posting government secrets, what the hell are you posting government secrets on TikTok for? Well, behind the scenes of a nuclear facility, or behind the White House. Well, what the hell are you doing that for, you Nimrod? I mean, weren't you taught in school, never give out your personal information, never give out the job you do, never give out how much money you make, or never give out the description of military bases? I mean, you see all these military people and all these police officers doing these live TikToks, and all these doctors doing live surgery on TikTok. Well, what the hell are you doing? Are you stupid or what? Then yes, that's just something.
Well, we're talking about TikTok. We're talking about all these governors wanting to, ban TikTok for their state employees, right? Now, I just mentioned Utah. Folks, the list goes on. There are now governors in Iowa, North Dakota, and Alabama that want to join GOP colleagues in banning TikTok for state employees.
And Florida,
now,
of course, is not on the list because Florida
no,
is
I didn't see Florida. Yeah, I didn't see Florida. I did not see Florida, but I have to say that Alabama, Kay Ivey, North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum, Iowa Governor Kim Reynolds, each signed executive orders in the past 2 days, guys, to ban the app from state-owned devices.
What do you
think? What do I think?
Do you support that or no?
Apparently I seen this breakout the other day, Sauce, with I think the president made a comment on it, and I can't take the guy serious because everything that comes out of the guy's fucking mouth is like. But apparently there's some type of like Chinese hacking thing going on, and it kind of ties into what we discussed the other day with intrusion attacks.
Yeah.
So if that links to the intrusion attacks that these so-called unknown, we don't know where it's coming from, Sus. If that's the case, then yes, I can understand banning it, but we don't know. It's still in the clouds. You know?
Well, and the whole thing is that you have to also look at it. You know, another thing is if you have government phones, okay, can't you, don't you realize that all government phones are tracked by the federal government? Don't you realize that, compared to your personal device? I was taught this in the military. Never ever download personal, never ever use personal use, like your personal usage on government phones, because we had government phones along with government credit cards. It was all tracked. So, and people got in trouble for downloading apps that they should have not downloaded. And TikTok, TikTok was, we didn't get in trouble if we download TikTok. But even then I said, well, I'm not going to download any social media app because that's going to get all tracked. So, I mean, it just comes with common sense.
The fuck kind of shit is that, huh?
I mean, are special, like Make-A-Wish Foundation employees.
Yeah. Well, according to, a federal communication commissioner member that told Axios this past week, TikTok has already accumulated more than 100 million with an M users in the United States and gained widespread popularity already through young people.
Yes, I would agree with that. By the way, that has grown. I would have to say, I have grown I've had strong censorship in that sense. It has done a great job. I've actually benefited from the growing of it.
Now, you mentioned, I want to flip-flop and, kind of circle back, play a peppermint patty, folks, on you. Sas mentioned Florida. What's Florida going? What are they doing with this whole ordeal? Well, I got news for you, folks. Senator Marco Rubio and Representative Mike Gallagher, he's a Republican out of Wisconsin, right?
Yep.
Have introduced a bill that would ban in the U.S. They want to eliminate this freaking app.
Yeah, well, isn't it though?
That's a question. I'm asking you. I mean, I'm asking you, the listeners probably that are listening to the episode. Is TikTok that dangerous for us to have it?
It is.
Why is it dangerous? I have no idea. I mean, without people like lip singing and maybe women shaking their asses, that's all I see on TikTok. Well, maybe I'm wrong.
well, some of the things I see on TikTok are absolutely grotesque. I've sent you things like, for instance, other events that are going on in TikTok. And I think you also have to look at this. I think people, for instance, do these lives on TikTok, and these lives are police officers on duty. These lives are military men on duty that are in their offices doing live TikToks. Okay. Now, those I'm strongly against, and I can see why they want to ban it, because that is, first of all, you're releasing information, and you're that for attention that you're doing a live me about you going on on your police call and going through like the whole process and stuff. No, I'm sorry. That's called making friends. You know, and that's called living in reality. And when you live in reality, you have to realize that there are bad people in the world. That your information, all these lives that you do, it's all being tracked.
Every cell phone, Sauce, that has a tracker in it. I mean, you don't have to have the damn location on the phone for you to be tracked by the federal government. We all know that. But my question is that this app, Sauce, was not invented in the U.S. Let's do a little background history on TikTok. TikTok is a Chinese piece of software.
Yep.
It's U.S. Invented. It was invented by the. If I have it correctly, my sources are saying through the Chinese government.
Yes.
So,
and you know what's also interesting is that in China they limit TikToks up to 40 minutes. So after 40 minutes, and even on TikTok in China, they don't have all these women shaking their asses. They don't have all these reels and stuff. They have like cooking. They have like, for instance, tips on making your house better. They also have tricks on building and stuff and educational stuff. You know,
well, Sauce, the Chinese, they do live a different type of lifestyle than modern Americans. They're not so worried about shaking their asses at a 7-Eleven or showing their tits at a gas station for attention. They're worried about furthering their education for their children, and the education is so much better there in the country of China. I hate to say it, folks, it really is, but you know, with the exception of the damn country being a socialist communist country, I'll give the Chinese culture one thing that they're good for is education and teaching their children correct morals. That I will give them, Sauce.
Yes, and that actually in China they don't have people marrying alphabet people. They don't have alphabet people in China. They actually have men and women that marry each other and actually live off like more like what you said, moral compasses, and they have somewhat of a moral like standard, you know, not getting married to like whoever, like not getting married to a zebra and stuff. And then, you know, and this also shows you though, okay, how this has gone, how we are now a laughing stock where TikTok is now considered the most addictive thing, because it's like in all these reels, you know, you see in social YouTube, Facebook pushing off like what reels are, you know, and how if you watch one, then you pretty much have to watch another, and then once you watch a certain amount, then the algorithms all work, so then it keeps your attention in. And I have figured that out when I watched Instagram reels. I thought like I could watch one of them, and then it turns out to be 3 hours later, and I'm like, what did I just do with my time?
Yeah. I hear you on that. Guys, I got some breaking news coming out of Florida. Just hit the bulletin here as we're doing this recording here. I got my TV on mute here. Coming out of Volusia County, guys, which is a little east of me in Daytona. TikTok influencer among 3 killed in Volusia County wrong way crash. Now, folks, troopers, this is still a developing story. Just hit Fox 5 Orlando here. Troopers are still searching for a hit-and-run driver involved in the crash. Now, like I said, this is in Volusia County, Florida, folks, with Alexandria Dolan, known by her fans on social media as Ally Spice, which is a huge TikTok influencer on the app, was among those killed in a wrong-way crash in Volusia County just earlier today, about a couple hours ago, actually. Florida Highway Patrol could confirm, folks, she was one of the victims killed in the crash on State Road 44. Now, prior to the crash, Dolan had garnered about 1 million followers between TikTok and Instagram. Now, what was she doing wrong? Well, I'm gonna break down a little bit. I don't want to cover too much of it, but basically, they were saying that the social media star, which is about 22 years of age, was doing a TikTok video while she was driving on the phone. Drove into oncoming traffic on the opposite side of that state road. Crazy stuff. But
yeah, well, Michael.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
You also have. So you also have this though, another situation that's going on. Okay, these stupid live TikToks, thinking that all these TikTok challenges. For instance, the FDA pulled out a bulletin stating because there's a TikTok challenge of cooking your chicken in NyQuil.
What? NyQuil?
Yeah, it's called NyQuil challenge. So what happens is that you go to the store and you buy NyQuil and you douse the chicken into it and then you cook it. So it's called the NyQuil challenge.
Oh boy.
And so isn't that, I'm like, are you stupid? And it's like all these Tide Pod challenge too. I'm like, are you brain dead? Like, you do realize it. And a lot of them, the reason why is because 13 people died because of the NyQuil challenge. And you had like multiple of them die or get very like severely sick enough. So the FDA finally put a bulletin stating that do not buy NyQuil. And also, you look at
I did see that, Sauce. They're taking the whole damn bottle of NyQuil, which actually this whole little trending challenge thing, folks, came out back in September. I remember seeing that back in September where they were taking the freaking NyQuil and they're pouring it into the chicken.
Savaged Unfiltered.
It's medicine, folks. Yeah. I mean, what are they thinking? They're going to marinate the fucking chicken with the damn NyQuil sauce?
Yeah. I mean, it's how stupid are you? Like, you got to be stupid to do these challenges. But at the same time, look what kind of and you have to be stupid enough to, like, you can't think for yourself. And then what happens? We have a generation that is dependent on say, oh, you know what? If I do this, I'm gonna get likes. And if I do this, I'm gonna like be famous. I don't care about what's gonna happen. I don't care if I die, but I'm gonna get those clicks.
Well, Sash, you're not gonna get likes and you're not gonna get famous when you're 6 feet in the freaking ground. Yeah.
When you're in Lucifer's palace, you're not gonna get.
Well, get this. There was a statement that was put out by the FDA saying that doing this challenge, folks, you can have basically side effects with difficulty of breathing, increased urination. Oh, it's going to make you pee a lot. Oh, okay. It's going to cause seizures, dizziness, hallucinations, dilated pupils, possible liver damage, and lastly, death. Yeah.
Well, no, duh. That's what you call an overdose.
NyQuil in your chicken. You can't use it to marinate the chicken.
Use regular stuff that you buy in a grocery store that is FDA approved. NyQuil is not FDA approved. The only thing NyQuil is approved for is basically clearing up a cough or a sneeze. I mean, come on.
Well, actually, NyQuil does knock me out when I take those long flights and stuff. It does knock me out for quite a bit. Like, especially if there's babies on the plane, I just put like 2 pills of NyQuil. And I just put those down my throat, and then next thing you know, I'm off like in dreamland until we land.
Yeah. Oh, yes, us. Folks, racism, anti-Semitism, homophobia, transphobia, they're all connected, he said. It's the GOP that's dividing this nation, not me. That's what Joe said in his speech. Oh. And the president also spoke about laws passed by Republican states to make irreversible gender transitioning procedures for children, Sas, illegal. Arguing that they were transphobic and inspired by hate.
See, this is just absolutely disgusting. You look at what they're. Well, I definitely can tell you. Look up Joe Biden's search history.
Yeah.
Maybe he's into this weird. And did you know that whole transgender thing is a one fetish?
Yeah, I mean it's.
And anyone that's attracted to that, like anyone that's attracted to, for instance, in the state of Wisconsin, okay, our governor passed an executive order actually a couple days ago, and it was Greg Gutfeld made a joke about it last night, and so did Tucker Carlson, because we can't call child predators anymore. They're called adults attracted to minors.
Adults attracted to minors. That's a new one, Sauce.
It is, and of course, it came out of liberal Wisconsin. But we still welcome you, Michael. Though I'm 24, so we're good.
Fuck that. Fuck that. I ain't going to that crazy state. That state will drive me crazy. I'll probably jump off the freaking bridge somewhere in Green Bay, Wisconsin.
No, you wouldn't. No, all you probably would do is dress up like a furry, and then you fit in. Just
yeah.
No, but what is your thoughts though? Like, what is your thoughts on, for instance, all these, like, you see these Democratic states, okay, trying to get like pushing these stuff, and you see them saying that, you know what, it's okay, like that we pay our tax dollars, okay, to do this surgery for a young kid that doesn't even know, they're not even 18. I mean, at least have some decency, you know. If for instance, if you're 18, okay, if I had a daughter or a son, okay, and they're 5 years old, and at one moment in our life, we always thought like we wanted to be the other sex, and I cross-dressed, you know, I cross-dressed at like 5 years old, okay, because it was for a Christmas party, and it was for Halloween, but that didn't make me a girl, did it? No. And I mean, the whole thing is that they make me a girl, and now you finally grow out of it once you go like past 18 and you like go to middle school, and you're like, oh, okay, now I'm cool, like I got fit in, not fit
in. Tosh, you were a young boy, and you even knew, man, that, you know, dressing up as a girl, man, was all pretend and everything and a goof. I mean, you really didn't think you were a girl, did you, Sas?
No, and that's the thing. It's like a lot of these kids don't think they don't know better, and for the fact that we have an administration giving schools permission to give them puberty blockers.
Come on, man.
Is absolutely wrong. That is disgraceful, and that is. What about the parents' consent? Has anyone heard about that?
Well,
for you to go on it, huh?
No, I was going to say, well, according to Biden, he previously described us MAGA Republicans as immoral for passing laws to block the transgender procedures for children. Oh, we're immoral, folks. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, we're immoral because we care about our kids too much. We are immoral because we want what's best for our kids, and we love our kids, and we want them to grow up in a healthy society where they can join the military and we can be the 1% of a badass men. Now, I am so glad I got out of our military because, you know what? I mean, it's just, you look at it and it's like a complete joke, and we're paying for, and you have a lot of the military members now complaining why a lot of them are dropping out. They're having a hard time recruiting numbers because they don't want to be in the military. A lot of people are getting out and getting in. I wonder. I can see why. Because
it's sick, Sauce. It really is. And I got to wrap it up, guys, because I have to take a time out myself here for a little bit before I join, because I'm scheduled to join Sauce's show, which you got to give me some time, Sauce. I'm fired up, buddy. I need a glass of water before I pass the hell out.
Oh, sounds good. Sorry for the bad language. I would like to apologize.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I welcome it. I love bad language. It's great. It gives the hype in the show, and it actually, language actually represents, folks. I got to do a show on language with Sauce one day. It actually represents the true character of a person, the anger, the frustration, the passion behind what they're trying to voice out. I think that was given through the Almighty God some thousands of years ago to mankind. When you don't voice out your anger, when you don't voice out your passion behind the voice that you're trying to get out, you're really not representing a persona. And I think it's extremely important to voice it out every now and then, to the right way, to an extent. Now, with the Looney Tunes in Washington and LA and all the crazy clowns there, what they do is absolutely immoral, if you ask me. But yeah, definitely, Sauce. I want to close it out. I also want to give some announcements as I close it out. Join me here momentarily, guys. Which this episode will air later this afternoon on Sauce's show, The Sauce Report. Sauce and I are going to get into some amazing content. Highly suggest you check out that show. Also, too, guys, I want to give a hat tip to Bob Lament and Miles from his show earlier this week. We did a recording which dropped yesterday on iHeart. Thank you very much. Those crazy bastards over there. Static Radio for allowing me to be on the air. And also, too, guys, I want to announce that I will be on Be Raw podcast this upcoming Friday with Walt up in New Jersey. It's going to be a rather interesting show, said the least. I highly suggest you check that out. And then one more announcement, guys, before we close it out here. Check me out, guys, as I will be having a OnlyFans model on the show, talking about sexuality and just what makes her bedizzle, so to speak, in the industry. It's going to be a rather unfiltered show. Sash, you got anything, man, before we close it out?
So I have some exciting news. Tomorrow, the Sauce Report is doing a special. I got invited to do a special episode with the business owner that just got set up. And so stay tuned for your social media handles. We're going to do a sit-down interview. We got the Therapy Twins on the 16th. No, on the 5th. I think it's on the 16th. We got the Therapy Twins joining. And then we also have some major. I'm also going to be on a podcast at 2:00. It's called the Patriot Podcast. I'm going to be on there. So I'm going to send the link over to Michael after we're done with the interview. And I've also been on other podcasts. They've been more Christian podcasts. And we are, for the first time ever, okay, an atheist has contacted me. Okay, he does a podcast called Sunday Sinner. Okay, he used to be a Christian and then walked away and now has become an atheist. And so now he wants to do a sit-down conversation and talk about, have kind of a battle, like over and Zoom battle. So it's going to be like over Zoom.
Oh, boy. Sasha, you better put your imaginary shield on there for that one, buddy.
Yes. So it's going to be thrilling.
Yeah.
Pretty good line. I got pretty good guest lineups, too. We got, another big one. Tune in for the Sauce Report because we're having the author, Joseph Leonard, who wrote the book Terror Strikes Near You, is going to be for a part 1 and part 2 episode and for the Sauce Report tomorrow and Friday morning. So you do not want to miss an exciting lineup.
Yeah, you don't want to miss Joseph Leonard, guys. The reason why, I'm pitching for him, he is the co-host of the show as well. That joins us on Monday and Wednesdays. But, I highly suggest you check out that 2-part series with Sauce and Joseph. Highly suggest you check it out Thursday and Friday on the Sauce Report. Joseph M. Leonard, the author of Terror Strikes Coming to a City Near You, which is also the upcoming author of another book that will be out on newsstands towards the middle of the end of this month, How to Write a Book and Get It Published, which I heard it's going to be a phenomenal book, guys. That being said, guys, I have to close it out. I need a glass of water before I pass out. And check me out on the Sauce Report. I will be on the Sauce Report very, very soon. Take these, guys, and remember, keep it savaged. Later.
Thank you for listening. You just heard an episode of Savaged Unfiltered. Remember to subscribe and follow us everywhere you hear a podcast. Thanks a lot, guys.